What if the thing you fear most isn't being judged, but being fully seen? What if your silence isn't peace, but self-protection masquerading as spiritual refinement? Welcome to the 12th challenge of evolution. The shadow of vanity, the sacred trial of emotional expression, and the hidden path to purity. This is the last shadow to let us go before we experience oneness with all of creation from higher consciousness. This is a far more internal shadow than the external shadow of pride. It's often the first unconscious vice we integrate into our psyche. The shadow tests us to discriminate between love of the ego and love of the self. What is the difference? Well, vanity will default to loving the image or surface identity. However, it's meant to be the veil we are supposed to pull on to get a real view of who we really are. The spiritual identity, loving that and loving the core value of one spirit, other spirits, and the spiritual collective that governs all material creation. Vanity is afraid that if you proceed with an open and courageous heart, you will lose your willpower. It would rather entertain the power and influence of your voice over others, encouraging that you can manipulate words into coercing others to get what you want. Wherever there is identification with pattern, archetype, or title, there is vanity. Ever more powerful it becomes when we think we are overcoming or think we are elevating above our vanity. Vanity uses itself as a shield from others via internal or external dialogue, which means it needs to keep one isolated from others, from our heart, and the love we are meant to radiate. Here is a short parable called The Court of Mirrors. At this point, please close your eyes and visualize the story I am about to share. Once in a kingdom woven between realms, there was a court of mirrors, a sacred place where each soul was invited to speak a single truth aloud. And when they did, the mirrors would echo back the vibration of their words, revealing not their face, but their essence. Those whose voices came from love were reflected as radiant beams of light, but those who spoke from ego, fear, or image saw only distortion. One such soul, Elian, was born with a gift of speech. His words could move crowds, sway minds, and inspire kings. But Elian feared that his voice could reveal if it wasn't perfect. He trained in the arts of silence, wit, and control. He crafted words like armor, beautiful, impenetrable. When his time came to stand in the court, Elian spoke with elegance, precision, power. But the mirrors were silent. Confused, he asked, "Did I not speak with greatness?" The keeper of the court replied gently, "You spoke from image, not from essence. Your voice echoed fear of imperfection. Return when your words are clothed not in beauty, but in truth." Elian wandered far, not to find better words, but to find the part of himself he was still afraid to express. This presents a unique and sacred challenge: the mastery of expression as a spiritual path. The shadow of vanity isn't always loud or arrogant. Sometimes it wears the mask of quiet detachment or refined judgment. It whispers, "They won't understand me. I'll wait until I'm ready. I'll only speak when it's perfect, worthy, and safe." And beneath that, the primal fear of being emotionally seen and misunderstood. This specific challenge represents the final spiritual trial before oneness. Unlike more physical or external shadows, vanity is internal, emotional, and exquisitely nuanced. It's the last threshold of the heart, where we shift from self-preservation to full-hearted expression. For those interested in doing deeper personal alchemy and wish to have a means of accelerating an understanding of shadow work, over the last 3 to 5 years, I have collected a wealth of information from various esoteric systems, namely the I Ching, human design, gene keys, the chakra systems, and astrology, as well as integrating them with the human genetic code. And in this chart, you will find the details of all the different shadows, all the different fears, the specific fears that fuel those specific shadows, all 64, all in relationship to each codon. And in this wheel, you will find 4 legends on each corner because they can't all fit on one corner or one side to make it a nice, evenly balanced square. So here is the statements from each zodiac sign so you can see. And then we have the legend for each chakra. You'll notice that there are more than 7, and because there are more than 7 because it is including the spleen as a means to detect threats. So there's an intuitional center there. There's also a center of willpower called the thyroid, because when we are born, the thyroid is literally almost, if not as big as our heart. So we have to accommodate that. And on the other side of this, you will also find an understanding of the I Ching, hexagram system, the different trigrams, the relationship to the three-dimensional plane, the yin and the yang, and how each of the 6 lines are affiliated with different archetypes, thanks to the human design and or gene key system. And lastly, you will also find the human genetic sequence chart for all the amino acids associated with the human genetic code. But furthermore, you will also find in this chart all the different zodiacs, all 12, mixed with the human design gene key chart. Bear with me, my graphics card is not as fast as other people's on their computer, but you will see all the different fears, all the different shadows, and how they relate to each chakra in those colorful little dots. So you can see how it affects each energy center in the body and how each of them have their own repressive and reactive statements because there are 6 expressions in each challenge. Therefore, you will also find those 6 lines in there, all with their own repressive and reactive statements, their associated dilemmas from that specific shadow, which eventually will clear up, the gift from making the right choices regularly and practicing that gift with its own unique self-empowerment statement. So as you learn to vacate the trapped emotions such as sadness, fear, anger, shame, and guilt, and you will reorient towards true self-alignment and honoring the intuition and inner authority that you possess, it will lead you towards the grace specific to that challenge. So if you would like to learn more about this and or you would like to download this file for your own personal means of translating your specific challenges in the human design system or in the gene key system, it is all there for you. All you have to go is to my website and download this PDF file. It's about 50 megabytes in size. I hope you enjoy this and hope you enjoy this brief glimpse into this massive PDF with all the details about all the specific challenges you'll have in your personal self-realization path. In order to find this PDF, a link will be found down below in the description of the YouTube video. When using that elaborate and vast chart of information, you can use the human design apps found in the App Store on Google Play so that you can choose whichever speaks to you most. And as you choose whichever human design app works best for you, you can then use that towards the chart. So you get your information and your numbers. And then after that, you can use the chart as reference. For example, I use the human design app, which helps me see the specific numbers that I need to see in the top right-hand corner. The red are the unconscious. These are the ones that were imprinted when the soul decided to remain anchored in the body about 90 days before you were born, between the second and the third trimester. The black numbers indicate the conscious, more aware challenges that you know you have in your current life, based on your survival challenges and your adversities currently going on in your life. You can also find that same application in the Human Design App Store for iPhone and or iOS before you start using the chart that you have purchased online. Thank you very much. And if you ever need more information on this and you wanted a free consultation in understanding the current challenges in your life and how it relates to human design, feel free to reach out through the links below. You can also visit thegenekeys.com. There, you will also find a different kind of chart. It relates to the same challenges and same numerical sequences as found in the I Ching and Human Design. And there you'll be able to find a free profile link where you can then enter in your personal information in this field and then have a look at your specific gene key profiles and understand your genus sequence, your Venus sequence in opening up your heart, your love sequence, prosperity, and finding inner harmony. Thank you for watching this short introduction into the Wheel of Evolutionary Change and the chart that I've shown you in brief. And hopefully through those apps and through this PDF, you will find a way to decode the challenges you face and understand how to make the best choices for you and everyone you were meant to impact positively in your life. Now back to the shadow work and the evolutionary change in this video. What's the purpose of this shadow? You see, shadows exist for a reason, not to shame us, but to protect the unintegrated parts of our being. Vanity is a wall we built when vulnerability felt dangerous. It formed when our emotional truth was dismissed, ridiculed, or too powerful to control. In childhood, maybe one's voice was too sensitive. Maybe one was praised for composure, not honesty, or punished when one's expression broke the status quo. So one learned silence is safety, image is influence, voice is risk. And that's why this specific challenge emerges later in life. It's meant to, because only a matured soul has the courage to face the final trial of being seen as how one truly is. From a physical standpoint, this challenge shapes our nervous system, our throat energy system, our throat chakra, one's posture around presence and visibility. One may feel tightness around one's voice, discomfort around speaking truthfully in social spaces, or need to script our self-expression. Spiritually, this specific challenge asks, can you be the vessel, not the performer? Can you let love speak through you, even if it trembles? This is not about spiritual perfection. It's about purity of intention. When you're not trying to be profound, grace enters. Please note that this shadow is also paired with the fear of placing faith in the self and the shadow of obscurity, where its repressive nature moves towards fantasizing and the reactive nature becoming diluted. There's also a dilemma there, and that is the dilemma of belief, belief in the self or belief in one's mask. Why this matters. In a world full of noise, the most radical thing you can do is speak from love without needing to be understood. This shadow is not your enemy. It's the final guardian between a life of performance and a life of pure contribution. And when you stop hiding behind image, when you no longer manipulate tone, silence, or persona, you allow grace to speak for you. This is not a video where I give you the fix. This is the video where I honor your path because you're not broken. You're just protecting something sacred. And in time, your voice will remember it was never meant to be perfect, only pure. So remember, this sacred challenge governs the final trial before full oneness, asking us to release the image expressed truthfully and trust our inner graces. We're here to explore this shadow purpose, its impact on our voice, and how it shapes our physical and spiritual evolution. This series is not to provide fixes, just clarity, not for performance, just for presence, and finding our presence. If you like this video, you know what to do. Subscribe if you want to learn more about these different unique challenges, all 64 of them if you like. I thank you for watching this video in its entirety, and please understand that in the description below, you'll find links such as link to my email if you want to reach out to me personally, my website, various meetup groups to support you in understanding your charts, understanding emotional intelligence, and emotional trauma release. And each one of those offers a group that is free to join, with events that cost nothing to participate in, and with free resources. But if you're not interested in participating on a meetup platform or through online Zoom meetings, you can also find those resources free off the archive page of my website. Again, thank you for your time in watching this video in its entirety. God bless you on your journey. Namaste, and good life to you all.